But it was the very first experience.
What we were seeing out there were essentially radar contact that we didn't think belonged.
You have this upgraded radar system. What are you detecting?
These objects, they would not proceed in like a perfectly straight line, kind of be meandering slightly.
Winding around, going up, going down. They're not going in a straight line.
We would see them being flat too. We'd see them perfectly stationary up there, regardless of the wind.
Really? What kind of wind?
At altitude, you can have anywhere up to 130, 140 miles.
So they're completely stationary with 140 mile an hour wind.
Correct.
How would something do that?
It's confusing to me as well. Even if we had something that could just burn that much energy, you could just fire all the rockets at the bottom really fast and hopefully keep it flat. It would never be perfectly still in winds like that.
Because the wind's not perfectly still either, right?
Exactly. It's not even really fighting the wind. It's just there in a way.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, how many people are seeing these things? They're like, oh, like 60 or 70. And I said, well, what do you do? And they said, well, we put out a NOTAM, which is a notice to airmen that just says, hey, these things are out there, so just be careful because we don't want you to hit one.
How long would these things stay up there for?
They were always out there. You know, they were
Always.
out there when we took off. We'd see them, and then we'd go to land. They would still be out there
Like every day?
every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So you guys go from not having any idea that these things are out there to an upgraded radar system to seeing them every day. When do you start getting a thought that like, what the f is this thing?
That happened when we visually saw one. And 2 aircraft from my squadron were flying out to the area. They were about 100 feet apart. As they were flying through, the lead pilot saw an object zip right by what they described was a dark cube inside some type of clear sphere where the corners of the cube were touching the inside of that sphere. And the crew came back. They were shocked. They're like, hey, we almost hit one of those damn things. And we all knew what he was referring to, even though we didn't necessarily have a name for it, just because we were seeing these so much.
So it's some sort of solid black cube that's inside this translucent sphere. It's just flying around the sky.
You kind of have to zoom out a bit and say, why is this weird? It was hanging out for perhaps 13 hours.
13 hours.
Perhaps they were out there all the time. There was really no answer what it was. And so our squadron filed a safety report, and we continued filing reports.
Riot Grapes and many other pilots reported these strange encounters. Had no wings, no cockpit, no intakes, no exhaust, and were somehow seemingly able to fly.
They began to have encounters weekly, almost daily in some cases.
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to pilots, both civilian and military, say, hey, Lou, the reason why I didn't report this because I didn't want to lose my job. I got a mortgage to pay, I got kids, you know, if I report this, they're going to think I'm crazy.
So we've been battling this stigma for a while, but I couldn't just ignore the things that I was seeing just because everyone else was uncomfortable talk. It's just a matter of time until there's a mid-air collision.